you guys. All right, so, oh, can you see the mess behind me? I think I covered it up pretty well. Okay, anyway, so today I'm going to be speaking about the TV show Dark. I'm going to be giving my opinions and thoughts on it. Basically, the third season finished a couple of months ago now, and I've just been wanting to make a video discussing like the entirety of all 3 seasons, and that's what I'm going to do in this review right now. But I'm gonna try my best to not give any spoilers, so I won't be giving away any big parts of the show. I think the only things I'll be spoilering are basically things you would already have seen if you watched a trailer for it, basically. So if you would like to hear my thoughts about these series, then keep watching. Alright, so first of all, I think it's important to just say I absolutely love this show. This is one of my, I think really one of my favorite series of all time, not just of German TV, but of all TV. It is truly such a masterpiece. Like, I cannot express enough how good this show is. If you have not seen it, you should really watch it. I highly recommend it. So I have actually only 2 critiques of this series in its entirety, and I'm going to be telling you what those 2 critiques are, so stay tuned for that. So just to give a small explanation of what the show is, it's essentially a sci-fi thriller centered around basically a missing kid and a little bit of time travel, or actually a lot of time travel, basically. It is very intense. Now, this is a sci-fi thriller. I think that's technically what it would be classified as, but it is full of a lot of emotions. I mean, I definitely cried a couple of times while watching this series. It really makes you feel things. It's not a drama, but it has a lot of aspects that are pulling at the heartstrings, I guess. I think the reason is because the show centers a lot around families and family ties and friendships and relationships, and it means that you get connected to the characters and the relationships that they're in, and so you feel things when they feel things. I will say, if you don't like things that are like at all scary or unpredictable, this is not the show for you. This is definitely a very intense TV show with a lot of really intense, deep, and kind of scary aspects. Maybe not even kind of. For me, it's not scary because I love horror and scary movies, but I think for somebody that really doesn't like that kind of stuff, there are definitely things in this series that will make you feel uncomfortable. This show has really mastered the idea of time travel. I think it's done in this show like it's never been done before. If you know another TV show or movie where you think the time travel aspect is as good as it is in Dark, please comment down below and let me know, because I really can't think of an example. So let's go over the reasons why this show is so good. So first up is just the storyline. I mean, this show is really just written so beautifully. It feels so raw and real, and the characters are really written very well, to the point where they really do feel like real people. Even though the stuff that's going on around them feels absolutely insane, the characters feel just like normal people. And with normal people problems, I might add. I think it's also very clear that the writers sat down and wrote this series with 3 seasons in mind and really chose to only make it 3 seasons and wrap it up completely in that. And I think that's one of the best things about this show, actually, is that they really managed to perfectly tie it off at the end with a big bow, basically. I think one of the biggest problems with normal TV shows is that they end up getting dragged on for far too long. So we end up with 12 seasons of a TV show, and the last, 5 or 6 of them are just like mediocre. If I'm thinking of some basic examples, I can think of Lost or even Game of Thrones, but let's not get into the end of that show because I have an opinion about that. But I think you get what I mean. Basically, they didn't want this show to be dragged on. They wanted it to be a 3-part series where they could really conclusively finish it off, and they did a really good job of that. So the next reason why the show is so good is because of the actors. First of all, the acting is incredible. Nobody in the show feels like they're not keeping up with anybody else. Everybody is truly really outstanding. Even the kids are great. I mean, most of the kids, the teenagers in the show, are not teenagers in real life, but still, they are doing a really great job. There's a lot of scenes with young people and older people, and they mesh together really well. Nobody feels like they're not doing good enough acting, basically. And one of the most incredible things about this show is the casting. The casting director did an outstanding job. So because the show involves time travel, you do get to see characters at, possibly different ages of their lives. Kind of a little spoiler, I guess. And the casting director managed to pick the actors so well that, you see your young character on the screen and you know this character really well, and you see them when they're older and it's them because they literally look like it's them. It's not because they tell you. That's how good the casting is. I mean, it's really incredible. The music is also really, really good. It's a great soundtrack, very creepy, eerie music that's done very, very well. It fits perfectly with the sort of theme of the way the show is filmed. It's all very not spooky, but, a little bit spooky. It's just has a very, kind of a creepy vibe, I guess. This show really manages to give you enough details that you feel like you can really figure out what's going on and follow the story, but at the same time, it doesn't give you enough that it's predictable. I think there's a really fine line between what makes really good quality TV and what's just not quite as good, and that's whether or not you can predict anything that's going to happen. And I really felt in this show I had absolutely no idea what was going to happen next, and that's really cool. So now I will tell you guys my 2 critiques of the show. I really only have 2, and they're not really big ones. The first one is that I felt that in season 3, the first few episodes of season 3 were a little bit slow for me. I got a little bit worried watching the beginning of season 3 that the ending wasn't gonna be good enough. Now, of course, I was totally wrong and the ending was absolutely incredible. I thought they did a great job, but I was just a little bit worried after the first couple episodes of the 3rd season. I started to say to my husband, oh no, I feel like it's a little bit slow, is it not gonna be good? But then it picked up and it was no problem after that. So that's critique number 1. Critique number 2 is really just something that's a personal preference of mine, and it's not necessarily a problem with the show, but that is the fact that I dislike when in TV shows, this is such a weird thing to say, but I really dislike in TV shows when there are physical scenes with 2 underaged people. I'm not sure really how to explain this correctly, but essentially I don't enjoy to watch children, basically to watch teenagers hook up. Now I know that this is really normal in a lot of TV shows. You see kids, teenagers getting it on and stuff, but there's something to me that just feels really wrong about that because, they're supposed to be underaged kids, they're supposed to be kids. I know that the actors are, in their 20s, but it doesn't change the fact that we're supposed to be watching these 2 teenagers, hook up, and something about that just makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't like it in any show, and honestly, I prefer when they imply that they're going to get together, and they just show a little bit at the beginning, and then you just leave it up to your imagination. I would have really preferred that in this show. It's the only thing that I ever felt about, And that's just my personal preference. I know that doesn't bother everybody, but that's just me. Something about watching teenagers, do it is just not my cup of tea, but to each their own, I guess. When I break it down like that, it starts to feel really creepy and weird, and that's exactly the problem that I have. So that's all on that. All in all, this is a really, really, really fantastic piece of art. I mean, it is really such an incredible show. It is done so well. I cannot wait to just watch all of it all over again and again, and I have been recommending it to everybody I know, basically. So if you have not seen Dark, please go check it out. If you speak English and you don't speak German, you can absolutely watch it with subtitle or even dubbing. I think it's dubbed in a bunch of languages now, and I would assume that it's pretty good, the dubbing, because the show is so popular, but I'm not exactly sure because we watch it in German. Alright, so I guess that's all I have to say about this. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button, and if you would like to subscribe to my channel, that would be amazing, but if you don't want to, I will not hold it against you. I'm wishing you guys a great October, I guess. I'm not really sure what I'm wishing you, but I'm wishing you guys a good day or a good October or a good life in general, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!